Congratulations, you did it. You made it. You're alive. You won the greatest race you could ever imagine against the hardest odds you could ever possibly think to win. And you were the sperm that not only made it to the egg, but you turned that sucker into a zygote, and now you get to exist. And here you are in a beautiful three-dimensional reality where you can walk around with crazy little dogs and see all kinds of cool stuff. Anyway, the point of this episode of the Meta Mind Space, welcome to the Meta Mind Space. This episode is about gratitude and how important it is and how it can keep you from being sad, and it can keep you appreciating life, and it can keep you getting the most out of life that you could possibly get. Basically, I felt it'd be important to make this episode to remind everybody just how lucky they are to be alive. And not only that, you're alive and you have the capabilities of watching this video, which means you must, in the very least, have access to the internet. And I'm quite sure you have access to food and water and probably fancy clothes too. Not to mention probably concert tickets. You could probably, play video games if you want, or spend all the time you want on Instagram. I don't know what you like doing. I like watching Netflix because, let's face it, I grew up watching TV and I still find that to be an entertaining art form. I also like coming out here, and I'm super grateful that I can. And the point is, I just want to share that gratitude and explain maybe a little bit about how it changed my life so much. I didn't used to always have so much gratitude. I've always appreciated life, but when you learn to really live with real gratitude and appreciation for just, most importantly, the fact that you are alive. Like, if you look at life, you know how hard it struggles, how much it battles to perpetuate and to exist, and it's such a powerful battle, the drive to perpetuate. That's what makes life work. It makes evolution work. It makes this amazing thing that we all get to experience happen. Now, within this experience, it's my belief that there are huge levels and varying degrees of consciousness and awareness of just how much of a role we individuals can play in the unfolding of this reality. That said, I do believe there are many people who have it in their best interest for you not to be aware of how powerful you are and how amazing your reality is. And that's why these ideas are pushed upon us, so many ideas that make us not be as grateful as we can be and make us think that we have way more things that are going wrong than really are. In reality, we've all very much so been turned against each other, race wars, religion wars, but when you get down to it, people love each other. We're all the same. We're all incredibly lucky to be able to be alive. And that's been taken from us, so I'm trying to be one of many voices who are here to remind us. And for me, a huge reminder was live music. Live music had a massive effect on my life, and I encourage everybody to go to live music, and particularly improvisational live music and festivals and stuff like that. That has a great impact on your life. But what are we talking about here? We're talking about gratitude. Basically, if you're a depressed person, or if you're someone who's lost and confused and you don't really know what's going on in life, and maybe you're suicidal, it's really important to understand how lucky you are to be here. And you might have to take a minute and step outside of the life that's been presented to you, the programmed things that have been sent to you that make you they put everybody, I say they, it sounds paranoid, but the they being the corporations and the businesses that are a huge part of our world right now. It's pretty apparent. And what they want is to perpetuate their business. It's what a corporation has to do. It's its rules. It has to keep making money. And a corporation doesn't necessarily care about your own well-being or your own happiness. It cares about sales. And that said, it's been discovered that people who are in a state of unrest, in a state of fear, in a state of craving, wanting more power or sex, those are two huge factors, is people wanting power or sex. That's been, I think it was Freud's cousin, Bernays, Edward Bernays, maybe his name is, discovered that long ago, and that led to this whole age that we're in right now. And anyway, the goal of the advertising and the goal of these powers is to keep us in a state of perpetual needing. We need these powers, we need the government, we need to buy these next things so we can continue to be happy. when really happiness is right in your backyard. I don't know where you live, but I'm positive that you can either look out the window or go for a few-minute walk, or no matter what, I'm positive you can find beauty and appreciation, even if you live in some kind of gross, rundown city, because it's still full of beautiful people and beautiful architecture, and even in its rundownedness, you can find beauty. You can go to some mucky marsh like this, and you can find all the beauty in the world right here in this gross algae. It's all a matter of perspective, and that's what we're talking about here. It's perspective. Talking about living life with an attitude of gratitude and getting way more out of it. It's hard to complain about your problems, which are usually pretty trivial, when you consider what other people are going through and how lucky you are to not be going through that stuff. And I don't know, it's just, you can take any aspect of your life and really think about it. Really, if you think about it with gratitude, with humbleness and understanding, you can realize really how lucky you are. And you can use this energy to pull yourself out of depression, out of stagnancy, out of apathy or boredom. All these things that these are like emotions that have been pushed on us by advertisers, by people who are controlling us and controlling our perspectives, and mostly driving us with fear. So, that's beautiful out here. I like to remind everybody just to breathe. I like to talk about meditation and presence, and it's just about looking around and just being in the moment. And you can find that moment anytime. You can find it while you're at work, you can find it while you're driving, while you're dealing with your student debts, compounded with your rent, and complicated by the fact that you're trying to go to this concert and you can't get tickets because StubHub bought all the tickets ahead of time somehow, and now they're all super expensive. There's a lot of things to get stressed about, but then you can sit and say, wait a second, I'm so fortunate I even have the opportunity to go to school and get myself in these debts. I'm so lucky I even have a chair to sit on and a roof over my head to complain about this crap. I'm so lucky that I even know that there is a band playing, that I can complain about not having a ticket, and I'm lucky that I can actually buy the overpriced ticket anyway. Like, you gotta be real with yourself. You gotta be grateful. You gotta appreciate who and what you are, and what you're capable of doing. Oh, there's another dog here. You don't gotta be grateful. You don't gotta be anything, but what I'm saying is, if you do want to get the most out of life, from what I've experienced and what I'm trying to share from my meta mindset, so you can add it to your own perspective, is gratitude is really important. As I mentioned earlier, there's forces that don't want us to know how much power we have. What I mean by how much power we have over reality is, what I'm saying is, a lot has to do with our perspective. And if you go through reality optimistically, and you go through with gratitude and awareness of its ability to be, if you go through reality aware that it does interact with you, and your thoughts actually do make a difference, which is a bold statement, which I'll get into at other times, living life that way makes a difference. So I'm saying, experiment with it, try having more gratitude and see what happens. And also, as far as I had earlier mentioned how this applies to people who are depressed or possibly suicidal, as far as the whole suicidal thing, you don't need to exit life because you're unhappy with it. The whole point is, what I'm trying to share is that you're extremely lucky to even be alive, and our detachment from our own gratitude because of all these issues that we're dealing with is unnatural, and we don't actually need to live in that way. Also, if you die, it's pretty likely that, in my opinion, you're just going to pop back in even more unfortunate circumstances until you do learn these lessons, because I do believe life is about finding these lessons, finding the gratitude, and understanding what it is to be benevolent and live with gratitude. But that's a whole other topic. So, that said, I'm going to sign off because my dog is not being grateful and she wants me to play with her. Thank you for listening and watching and being a part of the MetaMind space. Please check out the other videos, like, comment, share, tell your friends, and we'll see you later.